Hi students, sorry I'm not with you today. I am home with both my girls and all three of us have influenza. So rather than get you sick, um, you're going to have guest teachers both today and tomorrow. So I'm expecting excellent behavior. The notes I got from the sub yesterday told me that some people were not on there doing their very best. And if I hear the same thing either today or tomorrow, phone calls will be made home and there will be consequences. I'm hoping that I hear you guys were your awesome selves for your guest teachers the next 2 days. You are going to do a lab today, and there are some safety concerns, so I want you to listen very carefully to the expectations. This is something you've done before, and you did it before well, so I'm expecting you to do your very best. Okay, hopefully you're all on page 25. What you're going to do today is you're measuring the hardness of the metal strips again. The only difference is you're comparing two lengths of zinc to determine whether or not they have the same hardness. So if you look down here at the procedure, what you're going to do is you're going to try to scratch the metals to see how the hardness compares between all the metals and to see if the hardness is the same with the long strip of zinc and the short strip of zinc. So when you scratch the metals, remember, I want you to follow this procedure exactly. The metal that you're scratching, set it flat on the table and hold it with one hand, usually your left hand if you're right-handed. Then with your right hand or your dominant hand, hold the piece of metal that you're using to scratch in the other hand. Angle it down onto the piece of metal on the table and make a very short, deep scratch. It shouldn't be longer than a centimeter or the width of your pinky fingernail. If I see any longer scratches, I'll be disappointed in you. So make very small scratches. Don't scratch the metal up. Your strips will be taken away if you leave bigger scratches. Then once you've scratched, you want to make sure you check that it's a scratch and not a mark. So I want you to try to rub the scratch out with your finger. If it goes away, it's not a scratch. If it stays, it is a scratch and you're going to record it in the data table that way. So you're going to check all these metals against both the long and the short zinc to see if, based on their size, they behave the same way. So the first thing I want you to do when the video is over is go back to the beginning and make a prediction. I want you to really take a lot of time to make a prediction because you're going to spend some time discussing your prediction as a class. So then after you've made your prediction, if you look at the next page, this is where you're going to fill in your data. And this looks different than the data table we used before, so I'm going to explain this to you a little bit. So up here in these boxes, you're going to put your long zinc, and in this box, you're going to record what happens for your piece of short zinc. Okay, so then here you're going to record what it is scratched by. If you remember from the last lab, I still want you to double check this, but if you remember from the last lab, we found that iron was the hardest and aluminum was the softest. So because iron is the hardest, I know, and remember, I still want you to try this scratching, so I don't want you to record this data, but if I'm remembering correctly from the last lab, I know that zinc will be scratched by iron and it will not be scratched by aluminum. So I would record my data that way because I know it is scratched by iron and is not scratched by aluminum. Now, just for you to review, I'm going to put the code up at the top of the page because remember the elements have their code from the periodic table and on them, and if you don't remember the periodic table, it can be hard to remember. So up here at the top of the page, you can write down this code, Fe equals iron, Cu equals copper, Al equals aluminum, and Zn oops, equals, sorry, I'm a little slow today, guys. Thank you for being patient with me. So, and Zn equals zinc. So you're going to have a few minutes to test this out. And then what I'd like you to do, once everybody's finished and your guest teacher collects all the metal strips, then you're just going to spend the rest of class time discussing what you found. I don't want you to answer these questions yet. I do want you to take some time discussing. Okay, so thank you so much, and have a great day. Be safe, be careful. Remember, the first thing you're going to do as soon as the video is over is make this prediction and discuss. Then you're going to spend about 15 minutes doing your tests and recording your data. Then you're going to meet back together and discuss what you found. All right, have fun, guys. Do an awesome job. Remember, if the guest teacher sees anything that makes them uncomfortable or makes them feel unsafe, they're going to take away the supplies, and you're just going to sit and wait until the rest of the class is finished. You're going to share the strips with your table partner. So remember, the goal is for every single person to do the test on their own, not as a group. So you're just sharing the strips at your table. You're actually doing all the tests on your own. All right, thanks, guys. Have a good day.